Hello, welcome back, guys. We are back with a brand new chapter of our novel Obsession, chapter number 8. Let's begin. After crying for what felt like an eternity, Eva finally felt her tears drying up. There were no tears left for her. She looked around the room with a blank expression. The room was very large, even bigger than her whole house. Yet she felt suffocated sitting there. The bed was so soft and fluffy, yet she felt as if thorns were pricking her body. She got up from the bed and walked toward the large mirror placed in one corner of the room. As she looked at her reflection, she didn't appear the same as when she had gotten ready in the dress. The lehenga was wrinkled, the dupatta was out of place, and her hair, which had been perfectly set, was now falling down on her side. Her face looked tired from all the crying. However, she noticed the newest additions to her bridal look. The nuptial chain was tangled with her Rudraksh pendant, her finger adorned with a beautiful ring, and her hair partition filled with sindoor. She looked like a newly-wed bride, but she didn't feel like one. Instead, she felt like a prisoner was sentenced to death. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. She turned around, anticipating the entry of the devil. But to her surprise, there were two ladies. One was an older woman wearing a green knee length dress, and the other was a younger version of the first lady. Both looked very beautiful with pale white skin. Can we come in, sweetheart? The older woman asked with a warm tone, her voice thick with accent. Eva didn't reply and just stared at them. The two women looked at each other and then slowly made their ways toward her. Ariana looked at the girl standing in front of her, and it was evident why her son fell for her. She was one hell of a beautiful woman, but the empty eyes and tired face of the girl made her heart ache at the thought of her sufferings because of her son. On the other hand, Angelina was mesmerized by the divine beauty standing in front of her. Hey, I'm Angelina, Lucas' little sister, and this is our mother, Ariana. Angelina said, her tone filled with embarrassment. The whole situation was awkward for her. Never in her life did she think she would feel embarrassed while introducing herself as Lucas' sister. But here she was. Eva looked at the mother daughter duo, doubting their intentions. What do you guys want now? She asked in a cold tone. She was tired by all the crying and doesn't want to have a conversation with the devil's family. Ariana was impressed by her attitude. The Ashvin ladies never bowed their heads or sacrificed their self respect in front of anyone, and now Eva proved herself to be a Ashvin, even though it was unintentional. We are not here to trouble you, child. Even though I cannot relate to the pain you must be going through, I know how you must be feeling. Being away from your home, family, with a bunch of unknown people must be difficult for you. And knowing the reason for your pain is my son, I couldn't just sit there. I'm deeply ashamed of his actions, Ariana said while slowly stroking her head. Eva felt the motherly warmth emanating from the older woman. She craved her mother, and now this woman was providing her with that warmth. If you can feel my pain, then please let me go home. Eva pleaded in front of the older woman who wiped her tears. I'm sorry, my dear. I cannot do that. Please don't ask me for that. If you leave from here to your home, my son will lose his home. And I'm a selfish mother to let that happen. I'm sorry, Ariana said, her own eyes tearing up. You all are liars. Please, I cannot live here. Please let me go. Eva cried, and Ariana hugged her son's bride, who was begging to be freed from this marriage and relationship. I'm sorry, my child. I cannot let you go, but I'll be here for you as a mother to provide you with the strength to survive this situation, she said while breaking the hug and wiping her tears. Angelina admired the bond that had just formed between two strangers. She went towards Eva, held her hand, and guided her to sit on the bed, then sat beside her. I know I shouldn't defend my brother, but this is the first time I have heard him talking softly to someone. The happiness that was flashing in his eyes while introducing you as his wife, and I can feel the love he has for you. So don't worry about your safety here. He would die, but never let harm come to your way, she said, stroking her thumb on Eva's hand to calm her down. I know you must be thinking that I'm speaking in his favor, but it's nothing like that. We are also angry at him for what he did to you, and we will not forgive him until you do so. And please, don't try to forgive him easily. Let him earn his forgiveness. Remember that you are an Ashwin now, and we never bow in front of anyone. Let him be on his knees in front of you, and we two are always going to be on your side, Angelina said, bringing a new hope to Eva. She had thought they might be there to force her to accept their son, but they surprised her with their words. About your family, it's a mess he created. Let him solve it on his own. I only have one request to make. I know it may sound cruel and selfish to you, but please try to accept and give this marriage a chance. And even if you don't want to, I'll still be with you, Ariana said, giving her a small smile. Eva nodded her head, but there was a battle going on between her heart and mind. Was she ready to accept this relationship? Would she ever be able to accept him? It was the same dark and sterile looking warehouse of the Ashwin, and the devil was standing in front of a man who was kneeling before him with blood flowing out of every visible part of his body. Lucas gripped the hair of the man and made him look up. How dare you shout at my woman? How fucking dare you? He screamed while giving another punch to the man who fell on the ground by the impact of the punch. The man was groaning in pain, but all Lucas could see was the tear filled eyes of his darling. He then motioned to his side, from where two men came and made the man study in a sitting position, and then gave a blade to the devil, who smirked looking at his prey. You shouted at my darling with this filthy tongue of yours, right? And now I'm going to take it from you. I'm taking your ability to speak from you, he said while a monstrous glint flashed through his blue eyes. And without giving the man a second chance to speak or plead for his life, he cut off his tongue and stuffed it deep into his throat. He was not done yet. You glared at my precious wife with these eyes of yours. They disrespected the most beautiful sight in the world, and now they have lost the right to see anything. The Satan said and stabbed the knife into his eyes, who screamed, but his screams were muffled by his own tongue. Kill him, but remember to grant the most slow and painful death, he ordered to his men, who looked at him fearfully. Remember this: whoever tries to disrespect or harm my wife will face the hell on earth. I'll be bringing hell to those who dares to even look at my wife. See? He asked while raising his eyebrows, and all nodded in response. Damien looked at his brother, who was coming without an ounce of emotions on his face, completely different from the one who was with his wife. He too knew the power his brand new sister in law held on his brother. Lucas went towards his special room and asked for Damien, who came inside without any delay. You asked for me, brother? Damien asked. See, open the drawer and take out the whip from it. Lucas said and went toward the center of the room. Damien looked at him confusedly, but either way did what he asked. He looked only to see Lucas kneeling on the ground half naked. What are you doing, brother? Damien asked, unable to believe his brother's actions. You know what to do, Lucas said, his sound void of any emotions. But why? Damien asked. I will not let anyone go who dare to hurt my woman, and it includes myself also, Lucas said, making him shocked. He knew that his brother was mad, but his boundaries of madness crossed when it came to his beloved wife. After another 2 hours later, Damien and Lucas reached the Ashwin mansion. The latter went straight to his room to check on his wife, but the sight in front of him made him stop in his tracks. There were the three most important women in his life in this room. His mother was sitting on his bed while his wife's head was resting on her lap. His sister sat beside them while admiring the bond. He wished to capture this moment forever. He very slowly, without making any sound, entered the room. He went towards his mother, who was caressing Ava's hair. Her jewelry and dupatta was placed on the bedside table. Ariana looked at her son, who was observing his this with a longing look on his eyes. How long has she been sleeping? Lucas asked, noticing his mother's gaze. For about 1 hour, she replied. He then very slowly took Eva from her lap and placed her property on the bed and covered her with a blanket and placed a soft kiss on her cheeks. The other two women admired the scene with hurt eyes. After checking on her one more time, they went out of the room. She is the best choice for you, Angelina said as soon as she came out of the room. I know, Lucas replied with a proud tone. Earn her forgiveness, Lucas, Ariana said in a stern tone. I will, Mama, he replied with determination. After bidding good night to them, he again went inside the room. He looked at her for one more time and went to take a bath. With a lot of hissing and groaning, he finished the bath and applied ointment on the visible part of his upper body and then lay down on sofa. It was very uncomfortable for his large body to adjust to a small sofa, but he will do anything to make her comfortable. It was about 2 in the morning when Eva suddenly opened her eyes. Her throat felt dry. So she sat on the bed and looked to her right, where the small table was present. She got down from the bed and drank a glass of water. The room was dimly lit, giving a beautiful yet peaceful vibe. But then her eyes got stuck on the figure lying on the sofa. Yes, her husband. He looked cute while sleeping. His devil face turned into a baby face. Ruining her life, he was sleeping like a baby now, she thought. Looking at how cutely he is sleeping, an evil idea comes into her mind. She mentally smirked at her thoughts and went towards him, and then started making noises with her bangles and anklets, and sure they did make a noise. Lucas, who had already woken up from hearing her waking up, mentally smiled at her childish behavior. Eva made sounds for about 10 minutes, but he didn't open his eyes. Is this monster deaf? Can't he hear the noise I'm making from so long? Why is he not waking up? She asked herself, even if she had to become Manjalika, she was going to disturb his sleep, but was broken out of her thoughts when she was pulled into a hard body. She looked and found herself lying on top of him, her monster husband, who had a wide smirk on his face. He held her closely by her waist. Because of removing her dupatta, her waist and cleavage was a little visible, and his fingers were slightly brushing her bare waist, which made her shiver on top of him. What are you trying to do, Wifey? Lucas asked with a smirk. Eva, who was in shock till now, started wiggling in his arms, which caused her bangles to make noise. "S- Stay still, baby. Don't make these sounds. Do you want people to think that we are doing something inappropriate?" He asked in his husky voice while tightening his hold on her bare waist, which made her cheeks tinted with reddish color. She couldn't stop the blush that crept on her face due to their proximity, because it was the first time she was this close to a man. She looked into his eyes, which held a different kind of emotion. Amber eyes collided with the magnificent blue ones. Her innocent